Our next session starts out with a high-flying thank you to Pitsco for their generous donation of the 32 Sky Eagle kits for this next hands-on activity. Staci Goodson is an educational account representative, and she has been in sales for 6 years and covers the Western United States. Bill Holden is the development specialist at Pitsco. And here's just a little bit of information about Bill. He was a former science and math teacher with 12 years of experience in the classroom. He received his Bachelor of Science degree in education from Kansas State College of Pittsburgh with a major in natural sciences and a minor in mathematics. He has served in many different roles in his 30+ years with Pitsco Education. You may recognize him from his Dr. Zoon video series that provided video guidance for many of the Pitsco hands-on activities. He currently works as the development specialist with Pitsco and provides hands-on workshops at many conferences across the country each year. All right, take it away, Bill and Staci.
Thank you. And I want to introduce to you also Brandon Brill, who is our sales manager here at Pitsco. And we want to welcome each of you this afternoon. This is an unusual venue for us. Both Staci and I have been to different OEIP and other venues across Oklahoma many times. I think I've probably seen many of your faces on occasion. And I certainly want to welcome you. And as you know, if you've been in any of our workshops before, one of the things that we really value about each of you is your contribution that you have through teaching. And we thank you for that. We place high importance on teaching here at Pitsco. Many of us are ex-teachers. Actually, we're still teachers. We're just not in the classroom. We're trying to help you guys out who are in the classroom. And we do thank you for being there. It is a job that you get very little thanks. Johnny occasionally will come up and say thank you. Johnny's parents, it is rare on occasion for them to do the same. So anyway, thank you very much for the job that you do. And especially in these times, teaching has been thrown for a loop. And I'm not telling you anything new. This whole virtual thing has thrown us for a loop here. This is our first time to try and present a hands-on workshop like this over the internet. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but we're going to try and make it work. And we certainly appreciate your patience with us. Be sure to communicate with us through the chat. In the meantime, if you will, keep your microphones muted unless you just want to jump in and call me crazy, which is pretty valuable and accurate probably. Anyway, your questions, we'll try and answer them. We're going to do this by showing you a video of me constructing this Sky Eagle rubber band powered airplane. Now, usually, and if you've been in any of my workshops before, we typically just have you follow the instructions that are provided in the kit. And I understand that most of you will have a kit. And if you don't have a kit, just play along with us as if you do have a kit, because we're going to try and get you a kit in one way, shape, or form. So once you do have your kit, we will also send a link to the video so you can participate later on in this process. So we hope that you are successful with that. And Staci is going to tell you what we should have gotten to you by this point.
Hi all. So 32 people, as mentioned, got kits, and in those kits you should have received the Sky Eagle kit, the Pitsco Instacure glue. I think you got the purple one, so you may see a different color in the video, but either one Bill will discuss will work. A glue stick, sandpaper, and then a hobby knife. And the things that we did not send that you will need are like a foam board or cardboard, transparent tape, and some T-pins or straight pins. And then Bill mentioned mute your microphones. I'm going to try to keep up with chat in the few minutes I've had it. It's kind of overwhelming. So, but thank you for all your comments. Dr. Zoon is a celebrity. If you were here, I'd have him sign anything you wanted to, but maybe later. And I think I'm going to go back to Bill.
All right, as I said, we're going to have a video that will step you through all the steps. Right now, if you can find your kit and begin opening that, be careful, there are small parts and pieces within it. But if you can open that, you'll find some balsa wood inside of a cardboard tube. The tube is actually not used for anything except to keep the balsa pieces from breaking during the shipping process. So if you're thinking you're going to use that tube somewhere, not going to happen, but you can use it in another project if you like. So go ahead and find your kit, find all the parts and pieces, and then I'm going to let Staci begin the video here in just a moment. We will begin the building process by building the frame. To do that, we're going to smooth out the plan, and we want to be sure and have the writing facing us so that we can read all these instructions that are on the plan. We want to smooth that out and then use some cellophane tape to tape down the corners. And we'll try and pull this as smooth as possible as we tape. So now we're ready to begin building the frame. We'll use one of the shorter pieces of balsa and we'll put it on the plan. We're going to cut this center piece, which will go from here back to here. We'll mark it with our pencil to get the angles that we need. And then we will cut this with our hobby knife. We'll check to make sure that this fits as planned and it's ready to go. So we'll take a glue stick and put some glue on the back side of this balsa stick and glue it in place on the plan. Next, we will take balsa sticks for the 4 outside edges of our wing, and we will mark and cut each piece that fits on here just as the plan shows. Once we have all 4 pieces cut, we will glue one side and place them on the plan. If we need to change the angle a little bit, we can use sandpaper on the end of the stick to sand it until it's correct angle. Additionally, the instructions say to cut a V-notch in these 2 joints. However, if you've done this correctly to begin with and cut your angles correctly for this center piece, then that step won't be necessary. All right, we are now ready to take a couple scrap pieces of balsa and make these 2 joints right here on either side of the wing. These will help support the wing. So we're going to place these on top of the board, top of these sticks, and make a mark for the angles, and then cut our angles. And we'll see how this fits. Now these don't have to precisely line up with the pattern. If you cut it just a little bit short, then you can slide it towards the wing tip, and that will be okay.
Hi, everyone. This is Staci again. We have some comments that we're a little ahead on the video than in reality, which is fine. So we've kind of paused it. I'm not sure where everybody kind of is when we need to start up, but you know, things go a lot smoother in video than in reality. So we totally understand that and are prepared to pause. We have plenty of time. So just kind of let us know when we should move forward. We're kind of monitoring the chat and answering those questions.
And it's much easier to see in your in-person. You can tell exactly where everybody is. And some of them have, you know, some of them you can see, and some of them are, I mean, they are working and they are serious.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job.
Correct. Bill, do you want to address the sticks
Yes, just did.
for the whole team in case people are focused on their build?
Yes, at this point, the thinner sticks are the ones that you will be using to create the wings, both the main wing and the tail wing, and also the vertical stabilizer will be made from the thinner sticks. The thicker stick will be used for the fuselage or the motor holder for the Sky Eagle. So it will be a little ways down the road before you need that thicker stick.
All right, we're going to still pause for a couple of minutes based on some places people have mentioned they're at. And so we will start back in about 2 minutes, give some people some time to catch up.
Now, this sort of illustrates what can happen even when you're using videos in the classroom, as you probably are well aware. All of your students work at different rates. And so some are going to be a little ahead and following the written directions, others will be behind. So sometimes we use these videos as an introduction to the activity, play the whole video for them so they have an idea of what the whole thing is about, and then turn them loose with the instructions. In a workshop like this, you guys are all adults, or well, at least most of you are, and you are well able to follow the instructions, at least with a little guidance here and there. So that's kind of the approach that we're taking right now, and we'll try and keep tabs on where we're at and try and keep the video kind of following what you're doing there in your home or your school or wherever you may be at. Start back up.
All right, we're going to go ahead and continue with the video. And if I need to stop at any point, if we get too far behind, just let us know and we can easily pause. Not a problem at all.
So these are ready and we can glue these in place once again. A little glue stick on the back and press them down into position. All right, we have our wing section completed. We're ready to move to the tail section, and we'll do it just like we did the wing section. We'll cut the centerpiece and then the 4 outside pieces. And there we have the tail section ready to go. Now you may snap a piece of balsa as you're gluing it or in some process. If you do that, it's okay. Just grab another piece of balsa and mark it and cut a new stick. We're now ready to cut out the Okay, so we're kind of at a stopping point here where we have made the main wing and the tail wing. And just to kind of let everybody catch up and see if there are any questions at this point. So if you have a question, you can type that in and we'll attempt to answer it.
Hey, while we're
All right. Unless we have somebody that needs to stop, we're going to go ahead and continue the video, and we can stop as needed. So let us know.
I think we did have a question. Victoria, is that correct?
all I was going to say is that if there is time to fill, I would be interested to find out what pitfalls you've seen with kids doing this, like how do you teach through the mistakes kind of thing. So, but if you want to go on with video, that's fine. I just thought if we were kind of paused, it would be fun filler information.
Yeah, there are a number of different things that can happen within the construction. As you noticed, I snapped a piece of balsa. Students can make a cut that is going to be just a little bit too short, and they won't be able to recover from that. So having some extra balsa pieces, which I think there's one extra piece in the kit, so they do have a little bit of leeway for mistakes within this, but certainly things will happen as we get to the final assembly of the plane. There are numerous things that can happen within that, and we'll try and address some of those as we go through it. And it's just going to have to be you being familiar with the build, with the construction of the plane, and then troubleshooting, as you always do as teachers, trying to keep the students from totally destroying their plane and getting them a successful plane to fly. So good question though, thank you. Rudder section, and to do this we will cut on the right side of the gridded area. Now your instructions say to cut on the left side, but that would not be correct. Cut on the right side, right here. We will place some glue on the gridded area of the plan, and then we will position our motor stick over the plan and press it into place over the glued area. To help hold this down, we'll use a couple pins. Now we don't want to go right through the balsa. The instructions actually show a pin through the balsa. I prefer not to do that because you stand the chance of splitting that piece of balsa. So we'll glue it back, or we'll pin it back here, and we'll pin it in place up towards the front as well. Just placing the pins in at an angle against the balsa holds it in place. We'll cut the sticks for the rudder section in the same manner as we have done the other sticks. We'll place them on the plan, mark and cut and glue in place. Now we're ready to glue all these pieces of balsas together to make it a sturdy frame. Now you can use regular Elmer's glue or HD Bond type glue, or you can use CA glue or cyanoacrylate glue, or super glue as most people call it. Super glue is lighter and it is far superior in its holding power. So that's what we're going to use today, but you can use the other. You'll have to allow more drying time for the other types of glue. If, as you're putting the frame together, you're using another type of glue, the white glue or whatever, then you may want to add that glue as you're assembling the pieces. So there's some glue on the ends of each stick. With the CA glue, we'll forego that. So for each joint, we'll add a drop of CA glue. And this is Pitsco Instacure. You may have Pitsco Instacure Plus or another variety of super glue, and that is fine. They all work basically the same. It's really the consistency of the glue that may be different. I'm getting a little bit more glue here than I thought. It really doesn't take much of a drop, but the excess is not going to be a problem. And there we have it. Ready for the next step. We're ready to cut out the sections that we have put together at this point. We'll start with the main wing. We'll cut around the perimeter of the wing, being sure not to cut the area which has dotted lines around it. We want to include that in our wing section. So I'm going to begin there. And I simply cut through the paper.
Hi all, it's Staci again. Somebody's asked us to pause, so we're going to kind of pause. Again, we're kind of moving quickly. You will notice that Bill switched glues and started using the CA glue. There was also a question on gluing the rudder. I will let Bill answer that one. Let me see. Did the rudder frame get glued down with the glue stick? Bill, do you want to take that one?
Yes, on the rudder frame, it will get glued down with the glue stick, but you want to be sure before you begin that process that you have made the cut to the left or the right. I've forgotten that. Yeah, whatever the instruction said, do the opposite. To one side of the gridded area, you're going to cut that. And let me reference that. You're going to cut the paper. And now I can't find it, of course. Okay, it shows it correctly to the right, but it says in the words, the left edge of the gridded area. But you're going to cut the right side of the gridded area with your knife. You want to do that before you begin gluing the motor stick down to the plan and the other two rudder sticks down to the plan. Yes, Victoria.
I was just thinking this might be a good opportunity to introduce jargon and say fore and aft. Do you do that? Because it would be the fore portion of the airplane, wouldn't it? That you trim right there. Am I wrong?
Okay. If I could figure out how to turn my speaker up, I would. I'm sorry, Victoria, I didn't hear your question.
I said, it seems to me like when you're talking about the rudder, is this a place where you could introduce jargon and talk about like fore and aft for the?
Yes, it could be.
Okay, so
and actually,
is that the fore?
This is actually more of a vertical stabilizer than it is a rudder. So I'm not sure why we use that terminology in the user guide, but you can certainly add a trim tab to the back of that vertical stabilizer and create a rudder so that the plane will actually fly in a circle with that trim tab. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Great. Unmute. All right, I'm getting the hang of this. We will put a drop of purple glue at every joint, and that's to help hold all the sticks together once we cut out the main wing and the rear wing. So yes, purple glue at every joint, at least the ones that are indicated on the plan. Yes. and stay right next to the balsa as we go around the perimeter of the main wing. We follow the dotted lines, being sure not to cut those off. And these don't have a particular order that you have to do these in. Whatever feels comfortable as you're cutting. I tend to like to go from left to right and top to bottom. So that should complete the cut for the main wing. Let's see if we can lift that out. There we are. Do the same process for the tail section. And we'll lift that out. Still stuck just in one place here. There we go. Now I have a little bit of the planned. I still need to cut off right here. So I'll take care of that now. There we go. Now we'll cut out the rudder. And the entire length of the motor stick. We'll pop the rudder off, hopefully. Yeah, it will help if we take our pins out. All right, we're going to stop the video at this point for a little bit and let anyone that's a little behind get caught up. And to Denise, in terms of needing pliers, occasionally that does happen. Even with new bottles, sometimes the manufacturer will put the lid on or screw the bottle down with a little bit of that glue, and it holds really tight. So something to think about when you're doing this in the classroom with the students. You may want to have pliers available to be able to open the glue. Glue sheets. Oh, yeah. Also, we're going to send you a link to a glue applications chart, which will provide you information about lots of different varieties of glues and how they are used in different projects. This will be a good resource for you. The glues that we used on this, ordinary glue stick of just about any variety will work. With the Instacure, that will work with regular super glue, which you can get just about anywhere. Although our prices per ounce are really lower than about anywhere that you can get it. So I encourage you to use the Pitsco Instacure, and it is excellent glue. So. And as just a reminder, once we're done with this, we will have a link to this video within the chat line, and then also we'll be sending you an email with more information and more links for these resources. All right, we'll go ahead and start again.
This is where we didn't get completely cut through, so we'll go ahead and do that. And there we are with the motor stick and the rudder. At this point, we'll fold over these tabs that are left on the plan. But before we fold them over, we'll apply a little bit of glue stick. Fold them over and press them tightly to the balsa. Hold them for just a second to make sure they stick. We'll do that on each of the tabs of the main wings. And on our tail section, these tabs help hold the joints together. And there we have it. The tail section, the wing section, and the rudder and body stick or motor stick are all complete now. All right, we're ready to put the plane together. And to do that, we'll put the motor stick back on the plan and mark where the beginning of the wing should be. And it has, as it happens, is 2 1/8 inch back from the front of the plane. We'll put some glue on the center stick of the wing. We'll press the wing in place. pressing the center piece of balsa of the wing against the top of the motor stick. We're ready to add the propeller to the plane. We'll put the propeller on with the hook eye at the bottom of the motor stick, like this. Now we'll place the plane upside down, and we'll we'll pin one end of one wing onto our board. And we want to pin the other side of the wing so that this propeller is just touching the foam board. So grab.
All right, we're going to pause again at this point. This is sort of a critical point, getting the dihedral angle of the plane set. So if everyone catches up to this point, then they can kind of see what's happening here. We have the plane sitting upside down on the plan with both the top of the vertical stabilizer touching the plan and the propeller touching the plan. And then you pin the two ends of the wing, the main wing, into position on the plan, and that gives you the proper dihedral angle. And then you let that stand for a few minutes to let that dry into that position. You may want to take a spot of glue and hit the joints right at the motor stick where the main wing touches the motor stick. That might help reinforce that at this point. Fortunately, the dihedral angle is not critical. If it's not at this exact angle, the plane will still fly. Even with a flat wing, it will fly. The dihedral angle just has a lot more efficiency to it than a flat wing. Oh. Yeah. I have example of a flat wing. This one has no dihedral angle to it, and these wings should actually be up like this when you're completed, when you have your plane completed. But when you don't have it in that position, it'll be a flat wing, and that will actually fly as well. This one won't because I took the propeller off, but this is it compared to a slight dihedral angle on the plane. All right, back to the video.
Grab another pin it there, and that will give us the correct angle, the dihedral angle for the wings. Let's go ahead and glue the tail section to the motor stick. And as you might guess, that would be right back underneath the rudder. Now I've noticed that the rudder is not exactly straight up and down, so I'm going to add a pin right here to help hold it in position. We've let this dry for a few minutes. Now we'll take the plane off the board. And we're ready to add the pin, straight pin that came with the kit. We will add that at the back of the motor stick, about 3/4 of an inch in front of the tail section. We'll push it in carefully, and it needs to go in at least 1/4 of an inch. This one I pushed all the way through, probably didn't need to do that, but we'll adjust it back just a little ways. And there we have it, just right. Next, we'll apply some power to our airplane. And for that, we'll use this rubber band motor. We will tie a simple double knot in the end of it. Pull that up tight so it does not.
All right, we had a question back at step 8, which I think is cutting the plan to on the right side of the gridded area on the motor stick. And it's actually, the words say the left edge, but it's actually shown correctly. You cut through that plan on the right edge of the gridded area. Okay, and Priscilla, the pin, which pin are you speaking of? Oh, for the rubber band motor. Yes, let me show you. If you can see this up close, it's about 3/4 of an inch to an inch ahead of the tail section. You'll want to be careful and tell the kids as they're doing this to be careful. You want that pin to go in straight and not up to one side or the other, or they're liable to impale their fingers with that pin, which is not a comfortable thing. So be careful as they do that. Try and get it to go straight in to the wood.
I'm not sure I did it correctly. I'm talking about step 8, so she was doing that correctly.
Okay, so Priscilla, it was step 8. You're not sure if you did that correctly? Or the pin is on the underneath side? Yes, the pin is on the underneath side. It will be on the same side as the hook on the propeller. So if you got your propeller on correctly, and the hook should be on the underneath side, the wing is on the top side of the motor stick. The pin and the hook on the propeller are both underneath the motor stick. Any other questions? Thank you.
Come loose. So there we have a loop. We're going to put the front part of the loop, which is not the knot. That's a double knot. We'll put that right inside the hook on the propeller. The other end will hook over the pin at the back of the motor stick. We have a finished Sky Eagle at this point. Now we can add trim tabs, which are just simply control surfaces at the back of the wings or the back of the tail section, or even at the back of the rudder. These can be pieces of cardstock or pieces of paper that are about 1.5 inches square, and that allows you to bend those and to change the aerodynamics of the plane. We're not going to do that today, but that's a great thing to have your students do, and they can find out how that affects their flight. All right, the motor, the rubber band motor, provides energy by storing elastic energy or potential energy in the molecules of the rubber band. To do this, we just simply wind up the rubber band using the propeller and our finger. And for our first flights, I would recommend about 100 winds until that you're certain how your plane is going to fly. Now you can use your finger, or
we're going to pause the video again. We're at the point where we're beginning the winding process. Let's let everybody kind of catch up and get their motor and plane all ready for wind up, the and the pitch. I can see a lot of you are just about to that point.
Gina's got us an awesome plan.
I'm having a hard time figuring out which way I should wind it. Does it matter?
Can you hear?
It's having a hard time figuring out which way to wind it. Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does matter which way that you wind. As you are looking at the plane, you will wind it, the propeller. As you're looking at the plane, you'll wind the propeller clockwise. If you try and wind it the other way, it will go for a little bit and then it will begin to slip when it gets tight enough, and you'll hear it and feel it going click, 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 click. If you feel that and hear that, you're going the wrong direction. Turn it clockwise and you'll be good.
Couple different winders. This one is electric. And so you put the electric winder on here. And you wind it up. Now you're probably thinking, I couldn't count that fast, and you're correct. You can't count that fast, but it has a counter on the front of the winder. Or you can use a manual winder, in which case you have to take the motor off. And this is best done with somebody holding the other end of this, and you turn the crank to wind the propeller. So we're going to go ahead and wind this up to about 100 winds using our electric winder. We'll stop it, hold the propeller, and when we launch, we'll want to hold it slightly at an angle so it's at an incline as it's going forward, and then we'll give it a slight toss after we release the propeller.
All right, so we have gotten through the video, and now I'm wondering if everyone has gotten through the build. So once Staci gets back to the point where she can unshare her screen, there we are. Everybody's there again. Well, almost everybody's there again. I got a thumbs down from Denise. Everybody that has their plane pretty well assembled and ready to wind, hold your plane up in front of your camera. Just so I can get kind of a visual of everybody who's at that point. Got quite a few ready to go here. Now, one of the things that you can do, one of the concepts that you can talk to students about is kinetic and potential energy. Of course, as we're winding up the rubber band and propeller, we are storing energy in the form of potential energy within the molecules of that rubber band. That energy, when we release the propeller, makes the propeller spin. That spinning is known as kinetic energy, and that's what powers our plane. The propeller pushing the air backwards will propel, that's easy for me to say, no it's not. It will propel your airplane forward due to Newton's laws. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So there's lots of various STEM concepts that you can introduce within this. One good place to get some of those STEM concepts will be in the Sky Eagle Teacher Guide, which we will provide a link to that in the comments or in an email that we send you here in a little while. This teacher guide is available in print form, or you can digitally download it for free if you go to the Sky Eagle product page on the website. There'll be a resource button that'll take you to the Sky Eagle teacher guide page, and that will allow you to download a full version with live links of that teacher guide. And within that teacher guide, there will be 6 activities and 2 engineering challenges. So lots of different things that you can do with the Sky Eagles as they are completed and as your students complete these. Now, the sad thing that I have to tell you today is that we are not all together to fly these, because what I would have loved to have seen would have been to have everybody wind theirs up and be in a big room and everybody just release it and everybody's planes be flying everywhere in all different directions. That is a hoot. I don't know, is it hoot an Oklahoma term? Maybe. For some of you it is. Well, if it's not, it's a Kansas term, and you're only a little way south here, so we can transfer that vocabulary down to you. But anyway, it's a hoot. Flying the Sky Eagle will be a hoot for you and your students. I do encourage you to go out and give it a try. Don't fly it close to planes, or to planes. Don't have planes either. Don't fly it close to trees, because trees love to eat these planes. I know for a fact, these and kites, the trees love them. They just munch on them to death. So in any case, go out and fly these. I hope that you have a great time with them. And I hope that this will become a classroom activity that you can take back and share with your students.
Great job. Does anyone have any questions?
All right, I don't see any more questions. This is Staci again. So we will, after this is all said and done, once we get the link to the presentation, we will send that out. We will also send all the links. I think I heard something about balsa, wanted to know about the winders, the actual kit, the teacher's guide. I did put the YouTube video link on here on the chat, so y'all can grab it from there. And then if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to Bill or myself. We're always here for you.